What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Rumpier Sports NBA Hardwood Show. We're here breaking down the 9-game NBA slate here on Friday night, and we got our usual crew back together again. It feels good. Pretty similar situation. JT obviously on the road with shitty lighting. CDome looking good as always. I mean, in that nice California weather, got the short little T-shirt on, the V-neck setup, and then hoops freezing his ass off in the office. So we're gonna go over to our guy JT first. What's going on the road again? What's up?
Yeah, it's so I'm in the mountains. And this is the location with the telescope, but the telescope is on the third floor where people are. So I'm in the basement here. It's snowing outside. It's beautiful. And I had a great day, man. You know, I don't log into my Facebook account all that often, but I got a friend request from someone I used to work with who I did something for recently. And I said, I should go in and accept it. And they have this thing, and it's something you posted on this date, right? Yeah. And I don't post there anymore, but I looked at it, and it was from 12 years ago today. Excuse me, 11 years ago today. So 11 years ago today, I took a tour of the Great Wall of China, and there were two things that I found pretty interesting. One, at the base of the wall, there were all these like feral cats running around, and I was just like, how did they get here? Why did they choose to stay here? Seems like a dangerous decision. The wall itself, I mean, it's a fucking wall. It's a big wall. It wasn't even all that magnificent. I quite honestly, I have to think that the Ottomans, the Turks, the Russians, whoever was chasing them didn't really want to get it all that bad, because I think you could scale the wall. But the second thing was, if you put this picture up, this is 11 years ago today, there was this poster at the base of the wall. And this is at the base of the wall of the Great Wall of China. And I was traveling with all these people. It was a group of people that worked for me at the time. It was a work trip. And I'm seeing this and I'm laughing, and I'm like, they're probably thinking I'm crazy. But I said, I wonder who these guys are. Are these like the slaves who built the wall? Are these Chinese children, you know, mooning the government? And I said, I got to get a picture with it. And it reminded me of that today. So I don't know what you guys were doing 11 years ago today, but I was at the Great Wall of China. You guys ever been there?
Nah. I've never been there, but it is a great photo. And 11 years ago today, let's see, that would have been what, 2012?
I mean, you don't have to age shame me here. I mean, I
didn't give it. I didn't throw any numbers. I was just speaking of the year. Yeah, I don't know what I was doing back then, but I definitely was not where you were. CDome, have you ever been? And then 12 years ago, what were you up to?
Nah, man. I was 12 years ago. I was junior.
Was that three spins ran down back then?
I don't know about three, but it was a wild time. 12 years ago? So I was a junior at UCF. I was in a frat, Kappa Sig. So yeah, it was a great time. Not the Great Wall of China fun, but I'll tell you what, we built some kind of walls. I'll tell you that.
I appreciate it. I mean, maybe every Friday, JT, you could come on with the story, because it's it just sets the tone for the show. I love it. I mean, I believe a couple weeks ago we had the story about the couple that knew CDome from the Bachelor, and they're excited about that.
They watch every time now. And actually, I'm sending them my new code. I'm sending them my coupon code and saying, hey, you got to go ahead. You got to sign up. You're going to get 15% off, and you get to watch these shows and stalk CDome the way that Lindsay's mother stalks Chris Harrison. So it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
All right, so we kicked off our partnership with Underdog Fantasy this week as well. CDome, myself, Title did a show on, what day was that? Like Tuesday, I want to say. On Tuesday, we did a live draft. CDome, I wanted to get some updates from you. Are you still drafting, and how's it going, and what are you noticing in the streets, if so?
Yeah. Still going at it. It gets exhausting, I will say, trying to max both sites. But honestly, the DraftKings is relatively very soft compared to Underdog. I think a lot of people just don't understand the concept. Like, you can't keep all the players the whole playoffs. It's not how it works.
Dude. So I'm only on DraftKings because I for some reason Underdog is banned in Michigan, which hopefully I'm assuming our partner Underdog is working on that. But dude, the logic people, I'm assuming it's like no logic, I guess is what I should say, when they're drafting these teams. It can be frustrating though when you're trying to like build out a stack and they're just randomly taking guys all over the place. We talked about it on that show with Title. like it's almost better to draft with people that know what they're doing.
100%. Like I had a guy earlier. Well, I don't know if it was a guy or a girl, so please excuse me. But the draft, it was just Mahomes, Kelsey. Then he went Pacheco, Tony, Schmidt-Schuster. I'm like, yeah, the whole starting lineup could not play a game. So then he had just all ancillary pieces that the guy's done. It's dead money.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that does go to a bigger point though, because it is hard on either site to build Chiefs teams or even Eagles teams. I mean, it truly is. And we did talk about it while doing those drafts over on Underdog. But I mean, you're gonna definitely have to get lucky to advance if you're focusing on the Chiefs and Eagles.
Yeah. I think one thing you can do though is you can get strategic. I posted it in Discord. Is like you get conviction in an AFC or NFC team, and then you get either a 2 or 3 man stack from either 2 or 3 teams on the opposite conference. So that way, it's like one of those teams will probably make it, and then you're hoping your team does. And if so, then I mean you're pretty live. But at the end of the day, man, we really don't know what to expect because you have to win the first week. It's not top 2. So from there, I mean, who knows what these teams will look like and who gets lucky. And I mean, Zay Jones could break the slate, or Kenneth Walker. I mean, and these guys aren't even really getting drafted in Underdog. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So if you haven't already, get over to Underdog Fantasy and make an account, and then use the promo code RunPierre, or you can use the link. It should be in the description here or under the Underdog video that we did earlier in the week. So get on over there, use that promo code RunPierre. You get a $100 deposit match on your first deposit. All right, we have 9 games tonight. We'll hop into the slate here, but do us that favor, hit us with a like, and also hit the subscribe button. Helps us out a ton on for continuing to bring you guys these videos. 9 games on the slate. We already have some pretty substantial injury news. I'm sure there's more to come, but the first game we have JT's Atlanta Hawks facing off with the Pacers, and big boy total in this one, 238.5. Atlanta favored by 2.5 on the Pacers side. Obviously no Halliburton, and that opens up a lot of opportunity for the rest of the guys in the starting lineup. Nembhard, Hield, Benedict Mathurin, Miles Turner, all kind of popping in projections as solid plays. TJ McConnell as well on the Atlanta side. Still without Clint Capella. JT kind of nailed the Okongwu thing. I mean, feels like months ago, where just not a ton of upside. I mean, he's been fine in the 20s, had a nice little stretch of a 40 and a 38, but back to reality in the mid 20s. John Collins, the price is up a little bit. The Pacer side is going to be much higher owned, obviously, because of the fact we have no Halliburton. All these guys are showing up in projections. Probably going to be the most popular team on the slate. JT, I'll go to you first. How are you handling this Atlanta and Indiana game?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with the Atlanta side because Dejounte Murray is popping a little bit, and Trae Young's going to be back. Murray's now priced up at 8.8. He is coming off his worst game of the season. That's usually a time when I do like to attack these guys, just because they're going to bounce back, especially at low ownership. But 8,800, I just think there's better places that I want to go here, despite the great matchup. Okongwu, you mentioned, the ceiling has only been there in a limited fashion. Now they have signed Derek Favors, so he's actually going to have a backup that they're going to have some confidence in. So I think with the pricing on the Atlanta side, I'll probably be off there. Might take a few shots on Trae Young. And then, the Pacers side, like you talked about, these guys are all showing up as 25 to 30% owned. I think they're going to come in higher. And really the interest here for me, I think Miles Turner is still questionable. Good spot, but the highest price that he's going to see, 6,900. There are some lower price centers that I like. I do like Nembhard. We've seen when Halliburton has been out in the past that Nembhard has just gone absolutely nuts. So I like him. McConnell, I don't think he'll get into the starting lineup, but even as the backup at 4,100 against the Hawks team that doesn't guard the guard position. So I think there's plays here, but I personally am not going to be, I don't think, making, 3 or 4 Pacer lineups. Remember, it is still Rick Carlisle, and Rick Carlisle rotations can also get a little bit out there.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Brittany J in the chat says 12 years ago, I was stationed at Marine Reserve Unit in Pennsylvania. Thank you for your service. We appreciate that. So there's one 12-year ago memory. CDome, big total here, 238 and a half, approaching 240. Close spread, ideal, obviously, for fantasy purposes. How are you attacking this game?
I mean, the public definitely wants to attack it. That's for sure right now. With Halliburton being out, the usage just gets distributed amongst a lot of guys. But I think when we look at it first here, Miles Turner, if he does play, he's in a smash spot. Atlanta has struggled against bigs, one of the worst actually, over the last few weeks, especially. So seeing this, I mean, 6,900, if you look at his projection, like on an aggregate basis, it's about 40, 41 points. And right now, public is definitely on him. How much that I think that might vary. It could change, but we're looking at, potentially about 23, 24% ownership. But when you run the optimizer, I've ran quite a few lineups already. He populates almost every single time, it seems like. So Miles Turner is obviously going to be one of those guys that are a vocal point of this game specifically. TJ McConnell, it's like JT said, whether he starts or he comes off the bench, the usage is going to be there. He's going to have the ball in his hands at 4,100. He's definitely someone that you're going to want to consider. You're going to want to look at. Yes, he will garner ownership, but it's going to be one of those value plays that you're going to have to decide if you're doing single entry, do you want to rock with him? Or if you're doing, 20 or 150 lineups, don't mind having, exposure to him. It's just point guards usually that have value. They're way more valuable than, other positions because they do have the ball in their hand a majority of the time. So Buddy Hield is going to be another guy. He's going to take a ton of shots, especially with no Halliburton now. I wonder how the ball handling goes too. Like, will we see some more assists or some more facilitation from Buddy here? But he's dual eligible, 6,500. And, he's the least of the five kind of main pacers that's getting the least ownership tonight, which I do like because I can get on board with that. At 6,500, looking at almost a 40 projection, don't mind it. Also to Atlanta, they've struggled against Wayne's shooting guards, especially like over the last few weeks. They're like one of the worst in the league as well. So this could be a good upside spot here for him as well. And then you're going to want to look at probably Benedict Mathurin and Andrew Nembhard, both dual eligible in their own rights, 4,800 and 4,300 respectively, getting good projections on a point per dollar basis. But they're the two highest owned guys coming from this side of the ball. So, do you want to be fully chalk? I mean, it's one of the early games. Do you want to wait to see kind of what happens later on in the slate? There's some great games with some good totals. So just one of those things where, I look at value plays now and chalk plays. I put them into like a subcategory. So they'll be in my chalk pool. And, obviously that'll change with roster construction, but I don't see anything wrong there. And then on the Atlanta side, like, yeah, we can go with Conwu, John Collins, Bogdanovich. I don't mind it. I think one guy that this is like an outlier play, but I will say Indiana struggles against shooting guards and like Wayne's. And when you see Dejounte Murray, he had a horrible game. He was the outright chalk last slate. If you guys don't remember, this was like 2 nights ago, if I'm not mistaken. Point guard, shooting guard eligible. I know Trae on his back, but at 8,800, I do feel like given the fact that they do struggle trying to guard this position, I see upside here. 1% projected ownership. He will be in my player pool. I'm not saying he's a must play, but I'm saying just kind of taking into consideration, he is looking at like a 41, 42 point projection right now. But outside of that, I want nothing else from the Atlanta side. I'm not interested in any other pieces. And that's it for this game.
All right. JT, we are sitting at, let's see, we got 114 likes, about 425 watching. What do we need in order to get the plays of the day tonight?
Man, it's a holiday weekend for most people. Thankful to Martin Luther King, whose day it is on Monday, and I want to be generous. I want to be generous, Hoop, but I think we're probably going to get to 500. So I'm going to say 375.
All right, like that, 375. So better start pounding the like button now. So we get to plays, and you don't want to miss out on Friday night. Eiffel Tower play of the day. What was the? So it's labeled carbonated wine play of the day, but I mean we have a few nicknames for CDomes and then the rich parents as well. So you don't want to miss those plays at that. That's for sure. All right, on to the next game. We have the Knicks and the Wizards, 222.5 total. Knicks favored by 4, and Bradley Beal still out on the Wizards side. No, looks like the Knicks are actually pretty healthy. So, in terms of plays here in this game, I mean, I love Jalen Brunson. I always play him. The price is corrected. He was hovering in the 7K range basically all season long. Now he's 8.4, but man, that's kind of where he should be. 44, 59, 45, 55 fantasy points. He's been phenomenal this season. Julius Randle as well, price tag up, but he's been good. And then on the Wizard side, 10K for Porzingis. No thanks. I can't imagine a lot of people going there. Definitely won't be playing him. Kuzma, they bumped all the way up to 8.7. Just can't play those guys at that price tag. At those price tags, just way too high. Gafford's up to 5.2. Can't play the Wizards. I do have some interest in Brunson and Randall, but that's about it for me in this game. CDome, we'll go to you. Thoughts here on Knicks Wizards?
Yeah, this is looking like a slower game than a lot of other games we'll see tonight. 222 is one of the lowest totals on the slate. You're right, though. The projections for these guys, especially the Knicks, it's just not in alignment with kind of their salary. Same thing with Porzingis and Kuzma as well. So I think it's easier to look at that and say, I don't want to overpay for a guy that's getting, kind of a subpar projection compared to other guys on the slate. Now, I will say tonight's slate is rather interesting because it's one of the first slates I feel like there's not like a true superstar that's getting, that 50 plus, 60 plus point projection. I think there's one guy on tonight's slate, if I'm not mistaken, and I think it's Sabonis. He's the only one, like on an aggregate level from pulling different data. He's the only one that has a 50 plus point projection tonight. It's kind of rare. So it's a little bit different tonight on how you can roster or, kind of construct your rosters tonight. But I do like the call on Brunson. You're not going to really be owned. I don't mind the 8,400 price tag per kind of his projection tonight. He's been on fire. He's looked great. And if he continues this, why not? But outside of that, the only other guy I think that I would consider here that could be like a little bit sneaky. Washington has struggled against bigs, primarily probably over the last few weeks. If you look at it, Mitch Robb, he's 5,600. He's got a decent projection tonight. He's not going to be owned. He has been on some optimal lineups, not only like when I run, the optimizer, but lately, like if you see guys taking down, it's like a pivot to Mitch Robb. No one's going to own him. I don't mind it whatsoever, especially if the defensive static categories are there and he has double upside. I don't mind it whatsoever. So Mitch Robb's the only guy I'm going to consider here, but everything else, man, it's just too slow of a game, I think, for me to really have much interest in. I'm glad it's early because we could just get it out of the way.
Yeah. JT, a question in the chat revolving around RJ Barrett. Did come back from injury, 40 minutes right away, shot the ball 23 times. So no restrictions, obviously, there with him. And then anything else that interests you in this game?
Yeah, just a note on what CDome said about roster construction tonight. That's kind of why I want to not stay away, but I want to be underweight on many of the Pacers guys because there are some other injury situations that people aren't, at least right now, projected to take advantage of that are later in the night. And then really, I think you're going to live in that mid-range tonight, maybe only have one guy that's above, 9K. And so for that reason, this game, I just, the fully healthy Knicks, RJ Barrett, he did play a ton of minutes. 7,300 is kind of the top of his price range. Could he get there? Sure, he could get there, but I just think there are guys in better spots that are going to have a little bit more opportunity. Right on the same page, though, with CDome in terms of Mitchell Robinson, I'll be over the field. The field is going to be low on him. I won't be overweight on him, but I think 5,600, he mentioned it last 15 days. The Wizards actually the worst against centers on this slate. So I think he fits in nicely. I think actually, paying down at both center positions in the mid-range is something that I'm interested in here tonight. And Robinson fits that description as well. 37 and 38 minutes last couple of games. So those days where I want to say generally, because you never know with Thibodeau, but generally those days where you would see his minutes fluctuate, that hasn't been the case as of late.
34, 37, 37. That's a good number for sure. So I like that call. Definitely got to add to the player pool. Next game, we have the Pelicans and the Pistons, 234 total. Pelicans favored by 6 in this game. And same dude still out for the Pelicans. No Zion, no Brandon Ingram. CJ McCollum, though, priced up to 9.4K. So it seems like DraftKings realized that all the big-time superstars are off this slate, so they kind of bumped everyone up a little bit, it seems like. So 9.4 for McCollum. he has been paying off the price tag for sure. Valanciunas, boomer bust type play, 6.5K. Najee Marshall has been very, very consistent, I'd say, over this stretch of games where the Pelicans have been thin. Price 5.8K, definitely interesting there. And then on the Pistons, very thin tonight. I think we can take a look at some of the guys, and they're only 6-point underdogs. I mean, the Pistons, most of these slates have been almost double-digit underdogs, only 6 tonight. So I think we can consider some of these guys: Killian Hayes, Jaden Ivey, Isaiah Stewart, if he's in there, listed as questionable, I believe. So if he's in and in the starting lineup, I think he's a guy that we can take a look at. So I think there are some pieces here in play for me specifically. Killian Hayes, Jaden Ivey, probably my favorite on the Pistons side. And then Najee Marshall on the Pelicans are kind of the three guys in this game that I kind of have pegged. We'll go to you first, JT. Thoughts here, Pistons, Pelicans.
Yeah, you bring up a good point about the pricing on this slate. You know, I looked at CJ when I was first going through this, obviously being, depending on how you're looking at it, the first or the second game. I said, man, 9,400 for CJ McCollum is tough. But then really all of these guys are just a few $100s more than they really should be, than you really want them to be. And with CJ being the guy on this team right now, I think 9,400 is fine. I like Valanciunas a little bit at 6,500. Upside has been capped a little bit. However, Detroit over the last 2 weeks, 15 days, third worst against centers. And then you mentioned it, right? What's big news that I think a lot of people might not realize on this slate is Corey Joseph being ruled out. So that leaves you with Killian Hayes and Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey as the two primary ball handlers. So I like those two guys on the Detroit side. And I think that's about it on the Detroit side for me. Stewart, 5,300 if he's in. Yeah, he's fine, but I probably don't know how much I get there.
Yeah, I agree with you fully. CDome, thoughts here on this one? Mute.
Sorry about that. Damn, man, that's my second one of the season. Damn.
Only twice?
Damn,
only 2 times. That's it. That's a good number too.
I'm trying to get a Gold Glove, man. Like that's fair.
Well, it's not only that, but Nick said that we're going to start finding people who fail to turn the microphone on and off properly. So I think you got to worry about that. And then Matt P. Yes, the mountains are blue. They're blue. They're tasty. It's snowing out. I couldn't be happier.
Oh, I hope we're not finding like Adam Silver. As long as we're not like that, then. We might be good, but
like, here's 25 cents.
Yeah.
No, this game is I do like it. I'll start off with probably the main piece. I think it's CJ McCollum, and so JT kind of made a great point. Like tonight, these projections for so many of these guys up top, they're just so in line with one another. I mean, they're like a point or two off from one another. So when you look at like Zach LaVine tonight, who is going to be one of the clear chalks at 9,200, you could pay up 200 more at 94 for CJ. Basically 60, 70% less ownership, and I mean the usage is there, man. He has a great projection. This is a great matchup. When you look at what let me see, like the last few weeks, if I'm not mistaken, Detroit's been one of the worst against the point guards. This is going to be another spot where I think that's a pace up. You're going to see a lot of points. I think that's why the public is also on a lot of these Detroit guys. But CJ McCollum, I think, is a great pivot and a very good leverage play compared to maybe some other guys in the same price range. So I don't mind that whatsoever. Jonas Valanciunas, Detroit has struggled against bigs. If he plays his minutes, man, and this is a double-double. I love this spot for him as well, 6,500. And then anyone else on the Pelicans, maybe Najee Marshall, but his price is getting up there, man. 5,800 now. Like we were just paying, low threes. Now in the fours we were okay with. It's getting kind of steep. So I don't know. I think I might shy away from that. I would feel comfortable going elsewhere. I can't start paying $6K for a guy that it's just the consistency. It's just not for me. But on the Detroit side, Jaden Ivey is in a great spot. If the minutes are, I don't know what Casey's thinking with these rotations, especially when you got guys coming off the bench like Dalio. I don't know how you say it, Hamadou, if I'm not mistaken.
Hamadou Diallo,
that's exactly it.
Yeah, Diallo.
Yeah.
This guy's been.
That's when I actually know JT. You'd be impressed.
Dude,
Oh, yeah, did Dwayne Casey rotate?
I have the answer to CDome's question. Dwayne Casey doesn't think about rotation.
That's what I was just gonna say.
No, he does it. It makes dude. This guy was smashing. He was. It was one of the other nights. I forget what night it was. Dalio comes in, starts smashing. He gets pulled. They start getting blown out, and then all of a sudden he comes in the third quarter, starts smashing again. Takes him out. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Then the best part was they're down by like 25 or 30 in the fourth. He takes them out, but then puts them back in with 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro,
no logic behind his decisions. I get the Pistons aren't in it to win it this year, but man, like he was doing this. Where was he before? The Raptors, right? I believe. Yeah. And he just like piss poor decisions there as well. He's just like not a good coach.
Yeah.
The year after they fired him, they won the title.
Yeah, that should tell you something. That should definitely tell you something.
Yeah, so these other guys, Isaiah Stewart, I mean, he projects well 5,300. I do like JTHayes again. I don't mind going back to him. If you're looking for a cheap point guard under 6K, he's got a great projection. See, the thing about this is these Detroit guys, they're projecting well for their price points. So that's why they're garnering ownership. And it's hard because when you run the optimizer, at least one of them sometimes show up a lot. So, I mean, if you want to kind of rotate them out, if you're doing multi-entry, I don't mind that whatsoever. I will be, looking at them and seeing if they do fit. And if it looks like an optimal lineup, then I'm okay with that. But anyone else, I think it's just going to come down to Jaden Ivey and Saddiq Bey. They're getting the least kind of eyes from the public. But I do like them, especially Jaden Ivey. I think this is a Jaden Ivey spot tonight. I think he smashes. So that's it for me on this game.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty solid game. I mean, I don't think a lot of people do pay the 9-4 for McCollum. So if you are playing Pistons, I don't hate the idea of making sure you get some exposure to him. Najee Marshall looks overpriced as well, and he might be, but man, he's been consistent. So if you are going heavy Pistons, I do think there are some. And my guy Bogdanovich, I forgot to mention him too. I mean, 6.4K for him. He's got the mid 40s upside. He's flashed it a ton this season. It's not just random spots. He's done it relatively consistently all season long. So in on Bogdanovich as well. Just wanted to throw that in there. So I think there's a lot of ways. And Saddiq Bey, I mean, he's been really good. Look, coming off of 42, 27. He's only 4.8K. So I like the Pistons tonight. And again, if you want to get a little different with playing the Pistons, I think running it back with McCollum could be the answer. People are going to look at McCollum and say, this guy's overpriced. So very interesting game.
Just one thing, because our guy Gary is in there in the chat, and he's talking about Bey as well. And the price is nice. Looks like the minutes are there, and I can see it. My concern is, you just mentioned it, Hoop. He's coming off his best game of the season. He's easily one of the top 10 most volatile players in the NBA in terms of production.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say, oh no, it's a crazy play. I think it's interesting, especially because, like CDome says, it's going to be low owned. Maybe I'll have some, but he's not a player I want to be overweight on. I mean, if you do and it hits, yeah, you're going to win a lot of money. But I'm just concerned myself about a little bit of negative regression.
Yeah. The one nice thing, though, is 14 shots and 16 shots. Yeah. And if he's out there, he's going to be shooting 34 minutes, 37 minutes. I mean, he was 4 for 14 2 games ago and still, mustered up 27 fantasy points. So yeah, I like it as a play. Now,
I think like you have to look at it like this. Everyone's going to go Benedict Mathurin. Well, Saddiq Bey almost has the same projection, and no one's going Saddiq Bey. So I don't mind it. Like, these are where you can make these pivots that make you different, because if Mathurin doesn't get there and he's a bust, and you have Bey and he gets there and there's no regression, then you're in a great situation to potentially ship. So these are the type of things where you can build one with Mathurin and build one with Bey. That's what I like to do if you're multi-entering.
Yeah. There's a group of guys later that no one is going to be on that are in really good situations with increased opportunity, and I don't have to deal with Dwayne Casey.
Yeah.
So that's just my reason for not being overweight on it. But because people are asking about it, I thought we should talk about it. So good points from you guys.
Just to wrap it up, Garrett, it looks like it must have been a quote from Casey, which, I mean, that's probably my least trusted head coach in the NBA in terms of like what he says and what he actually does. But apparently he said he wants Saddiq Bey to shoot the ball 20 times a game. And that would make sense, because if you're an NBA coach and you don't want to win games, having Saddiq Bey shoot it 20 times is probably a good
30%
answer.
shooter, shooting the ball 20 times. Listen, I trust Al Jazeera more than I trust Dwayne Casey, so I get it.
All right, next game we have the Warriors and the Spurs. 243.5 total. Golden State favored by 8.5 in this game. Pretty much back to full strength for the Warriors. Steph's at 10-4. He played, what was it, like 31 minutes, I want to say? 31 minutes first game back. So I don't think they're necessarily going to give him a 40-minute workload. I don't know. With them at full strength, playing the Spurs, I just don't have much interest at all in the Warriors. And then on the Spurs side, only guy I think I could potentially play, I guess two, would be Keldon Johnson, maybe. Jakob Poeltl, maybe. They'd be more like last guys in my lineup type plays. I guess you could throw Trey Jones in that conversation too, but not going to play the Warriors. Trey Jones, Keldon Johnson, Poeltl, maybe. That's kind of where I stand. CDome, we'll go to you first. Warriors, Spurs, any interest here?
I mean, Warriors are coming off probably one of the worst losses they've ever had at home against a depleted Suns team that had no one. So I could only imagine kind of what that kind of translates tonight against a horrible Spurs team that doesn't play any defense. I think this is a blowout city. I think it's hard to kind of pick anyone here as far as, from a DFS standpoint. But if you do want to look at anyone, I think Trey Jones. Golden State has struggled against point guards. Now, the thing is also Golden State doesn't play good on the road. So does that look like a nice little night? He projects very well tonight, 6,200. The minutes are there. I don't mind it whatsoever. But everyone else, especially with Curry now back in the mix, I think they're going to have to take a couple games to really have that synergy with one another and get back to a really formidable West team. So anything else, though, is probably a no-go for me. And, I mean, that's it, really.
Yep. Any interest here, JT, Warriors, Spurs?
Not a ton. I mean, the only price that stood out to me was Jeremy Sochan at 4,800. He is playing 38, not 30. He's playing 30 minutes. Nobody plays 38 minutes in the Popovich system. And CDome's point about them playing poorly on the road, they've been not that great against bigs, against versatile bigs, but, low percentage play. So, maybe 5% just to be different.
All right, make sure you guys are hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe. We're up to about 560 watching, 218 likes, and that is a hurtful number. What would you say, JT? 350? Or is that right?
375. What number?
375.
Right.
218. A lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. Got about half the games left.
Should we even continue?
Already heading up.
Should we even continue?
Could shut it down. We could just put up your Great Wall of China
Great
pick
Wall,
again.
The mediocre wall of China.
just let it roll for the rest of the show. No comments. We'll just go straight mute the rest of the show.
I mean, listen. If we don't get to 375, we're going to let those kids moon you for the rest of the time. So no, it's a holiday weekend. We feel good. Let's keep going. Let's keep it rolling. All right. Next game on the docket here, we have the Suns. We have the Timberwolves. 221.5 total. Suns still without Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Price tags on these cheap guys heading upwards, which makes it somewhat tough. Dwayne Washington now up to 5K, Bridges 6'6", Ayton 8K, Saric 4'4", Torrey Craig 4'6". It's just enough for me to be off these guys. We have better value, I think, around the rest of the slate. And then on the Timberwolves side, nothing really standing out to me. Is Anthony Edwards full go? Questionable because of the hip. He left and came back.
Yeah. So he's officially
Monty Morris is out for
the Wizards. Saw that. What does that do, if anything? I mean, those Wizards guys are so freaking expensive. All of them.
Doesn't that bring up Goodwin? Doesn't Goodwin get a bump?
Good. Well, he's 3K. Yeah, I guess that he's been playing minutes too. He has something. Yeah, definitely something to look at.
I think Wright is going to start. Wright is what, 3,200?
34. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So DeLon Wright will start. He's 3,400.
A couple more cheap plays, I guess, to add into the mix.
Yeah.
Suns, Timberwolves. So Anthony Edwards is questionable. I guess if he were to miss, maybe D'Angelo Russell at 7-2, but man, the upside in him is just like so capped. Like he just never is on the winner. Like he's not a guy that you need. So yeah, I don't know. Not a ton of interest for me in this game. JT, anything here?
Yeah, Anthony Edwards is questionable. Like we said, he left that game. He was actually ruled out, and then he came back in to finish off that game. 8,900 is a really good price tag for him if he plays, if we're confident that he's healthy. And then there's some other guys in this lineup here that are questionable. Taurean Prince is questionable. Kyle Anderson is questionable. And if Edwards misses, you've got Jalen Noel sitting there at 4,100. Rivers, probably not going to get to Rivers at 3,300 just because the value in other places is a lot more consistent and reliable. And then the two guys on Phoenix that are priced close to where they would normally be priced, despite the fact that they're going to get a little bit more opportunity here, is Michael Bridges at 6,600 and then Torrey Craig at 4,600. Minnesota, very soft in the interior, very soft under the rim. And I could see those guys being interesting pivots, just a few shares of each.
CDome, what do you got here? Suns and Timberwolves.
Yeah, I think you made a good point about, D'Angelo Russell just really does have a cap. And at 7,200 tonight, I can find guys that just like on Detroit who have either the same projection or a point or two under. So there's really no reason for me to pay up for D'Angelo Russell tonight. DeAndre Ayton's first game back, I don't know what that looks like. I kind of just don't want to mess with it, to be honest. I don't want to mess with this team unless fully healthy and they've really figured things out, unless it's like just huge value situations. And Edwards, don't know kind of what this situation is. He left, and hurt his leg last game, but then miraculously came back in the fourth. I don't know if you saw that. Like he didn't even play like the third, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember, but I think I'm going to just go elsewhere. But the Mikal Bridges is a great call, like 6,600. He's had two pretty solid DFS games this year against Minnesota, and they do struggle against this position. So I don't mind it. I'm not paying $5K for Dwayne Washington, even though 11 or 12% right now if the public wants to. He's just not good, dude. Like I don't understand. He turns over the ball. So no disrespect. I'm not in the NBA, so I probably shouldn't be talking about a guy's skill set, but he just turns over the ball. What?
Bring the smoke. Bring it.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. I just think I'd rather have Killian Hayes over Dwayne Washington. I know a lot of people give Killian Hayes crap, but at the end of the day, like he turns over the ball a ton. He's just not a true point guard in my opinion. So yeah, I'm not going there again. If you want to go Sark or Craig, like I don't see why they're just not as valuable as they were maybe a few nights ago. But other than that, I'm good on this game.
Yeah, Dwayne Washington was like smashing at the end of last season, I believe, like garbage time last couple weeks of the season. Obviously, I haven't seen it here this year. I agree with you. Now that the price is up, it's an easy one to kind of look past. Thunder Bulls 233.5 total. Chicago favored by 4.5, and man, I really like this one because for a couple reasons. Obviously, no DeMar DeRozan, or is he officially doubtful? He's not going to play though. What is he officially doubtful? So without him, love going to Levine, who's had some big games recently, 51, 48, 50, 62. And then Vucevic, I think, is now in play without DeRozan. For me, all it takes is one of those guys to be out, and the other ones are in play, and that's kind of what we have here tonight. Could throw Caruso into the mix as well. He should play a decent chunk of minutes, has not had much production. Then on the Thunder side, just very clear plays for me. SGA, he's been phenomenal all season long, 10-2. Josh Giddey has been great, 7K, and he has big upside at 7K. So like the main dudes here. This is a great game to target if you're playing some Pacers. Come here, SGA, Giddey, Levine, Vucevic. I think all solid options tonight. CDome, we'll stick with you. Thoughts here on this one?
Yeah, man, obviously Levine is popping like crazy. So is Vooch. 9,200, 8,500. I'm not gonna avoid that. Obviously they'll be spread out and try to figure out exactly what lineups are.
Just not to cut you off, but real big news: Miles Turner out. That's slate changing news, I'd say for sure. That is slate changing.
So that means Isaiah Jackson season. He's min price.
Yeah, it's
or are they going to run out? Dude, here's the thing. You want to talk about volatile guys? JT, freaking Jalen Smith. He's in the top. He's in the top 5 and deserves that award. Like,
well, I don't think he's volatile as much as the minutes are. I talked about the Carlisle rotations. He started, I think he played 20 some odd minutes. And yeah, I didn't see that there was, a great deal of foul trouble. Not a great matchup against the Knicks, but still he was like 3,500. But now you've got a situation where with the Pacers, everything's changed because Turner's out, Nesmith was ruled out, O'Shea Brissett is available to play. So now instead of like 6 bigs, you've only got Isaiah Jackson, Jalen Smith, and O'Shea Brissett. So
what about Goga?
Yeah, I mean, I personally think Goga's the 4th guy there. I don't know. It's Rick Carlisle, so he's going to get minutes. I think starters for Indiana, are going to be important. And then news too from the Washington side, Wes Unseld quickly joining the Dwayne Casey club. DeLon Wright and Taj Gibson are going to have minute limits on Friday. So that seems like a situation to kind of just stay away from with that coach.
Oh, it is hard though to stay away from it. I mean, I guess with the minute limits, guys, stay away from that.
Well, you're not playing, like you said, you're not playing Porzingis, you're not playing Kuzma. Maybe. I mean,
what's a minutes limit? What does that look like?
Well, it's Wes Unseld, so we don't know.
I thought you were talking. Sorry, I got confused. I thought you were talking about the Pacers. No, okay.
No.
The Wizards. Yeah, no, you can definitely stay away from that situation.
Yeah, well, maybe you can get interested in Will Barton if those guys are going to have minutes limits. So, but then it's just you're probably right. It's probably better to stay away.
Yeah. All right, CDome. Where we're Thunder Bulls.
Interesting things to take in effect. So we'll see how that all plays out. But yeah, I think SGA coming off a really, really great game against Philadelphia last night. Shot rate was kind of just everywhere. What does that look like tonight? I don't know if I want to pay the 10.2K, but I'm gonna have shares of him. Unfortunately, he has upside. This is an interesting spot. I don't mind it. Vucevic. He was in a smash spot against Washington, didn't get there. But tonight, does that change? I don't know. OKC has played pretty decent against bigs the last few games. For the majority of the game last night, Embiid also got in foul trouble, but they kind of neutralized the paint. And then they shut down Orlando Robinson. I don't know if you guys remember when he was chalk a few nights ago as well. They just really shut down the paint there as well. So, is there other big men that I can go to tonight? I'm going to look into that. I am going to look into that, but I still want to have some shares, but I don't want to be as heavy as I was the other night because I was heavy Vooch, and 40 points from him just didn't get there per his price point. So I'll definitely, try to figure that out. Josh Giddey, man, he's looked good, dude. This guy's like, capable of getting a triple double any day now, or any game now. It seems like he just almost gets there. Yeah. So I think for him, if 7K, I don't mind the projection for his price point, but I think I could just get elsewhere. And then anything else, man, people are going to go to Kobe White and Caruso, 38 and 3,600. I just don't see the upside. I don't know. I'd rather just find some other place. To be honest with you, I'd rather play Goodwin over Kobe White and Alex Caruso at 3K minimum.
Isaiah Stewart ruled out as well for the Pistons, so they become even more thin than we were kind of thinking. So was it Nerlens Noel? Good for Bogdanovic for sure. Yeah.
He stays on the court more. I don't know if you noticed, but he stays on the court more and kind of plays like that stretch four. So I could see that. I could see him getting some. But then does that mean Nerlens Noel's starting tonight?
Probably. Yeah.
So you're going to get 21 minutes out of him. I mean, they're trying to feature Bogdanovic to try and get a couple of first rounders back for him. So good spot for him. Makes it an even better matchup for Valanciunas.
Yes, that's a great breakdown. Absolutely great breakdown. Magic, Jazz, 233.5 total in this game. Utah favored by 6.5. Just really haven't been playing the Magic, and they're a team that I only look to when there's some injuries and there's nothing substantial on that side that stands out. On the Utah side, I don't know, maybe some fringe plays. Kessler's a guy that I was looking at a little bit, but man, with the value that's opening up in these other situations, I just don't think I can get to Utah. So again, this is a game that I'm going to be off. JT, thoughts here on Magic, Jazz?
Yeah, same here. Any interest I had is kind of dissipated by this news and the fact that we've got such better value and opportunity elsewhere.
Perfect. CDome, any magic or jazz for you?
Jesus. Yeah, so I think the only thing that I would do here is, and this is just, because he can go off, but Lauri Markkanen at home, he's 9,800. No one's going to pay that. But it's just like Christian Wood last night, right? No one really wanted to pay that. Just wasn't fitting the builds. I just want to make sure that if Lauri Markkanen does have that freaking 60, 65-point game, I want to have a share of him. So other than that, though, I have no interest whatsoever on the Orlando side, especially with those price points, especially with like the health that they're at now. I'm good.
All right, let's keep it moving. Actually, let's check in on the likes. See how we're doing with the likes. Ooh, need a big push. We got 285. Need 90? 90
Yeah.
more. 90 more. Now 89.
How many people watching? How many people watching?
Just
I saw. I will say though, I was gonna say, someone mentioned in the chat just now. It's a really good point. Utah has struggled against bigs throughout the season this year. It's kind of been like a place where we go in DFS. Wendell Carter is actually a pretty solid play. So I do like that call. Whoever just said that in chat. He's 6,500. But the only thing we need him to do is he needs to play 30 plus minutes, and there's definitely double upside there. So don't mind that call whatsoever.
Yeah. All right. 2 more games, and as we said, you guys, nice little push there. Now we're down to like 70. Oh, my math is bad right now. 68 more likes. 68 more likes, and you guys will get the play of the day. You can't come out short on a Friday. Like, you just absolutely cannot come out short on a Friday. Unacceptable. You guys have got the job done for us all season long. I know you'll do it here again tonight. So hit that like, hit the subscribe button. Nuggets, Clippers, 221.5 total. Clippers favored by 4.5. And the reason the Clippers are favored by 4.5 is because Nikola Jokic has been ruled out for the game. Jamal Murray will be one of the most popular plays on the slate. DeAndre Jordan will likely get some ownership as well, 3K. But man, there's just no way he plays a lot of minutes here. So a little cautious on him. I think we have better plays at center, but Murray's the guy. Maybe Michael Porter Jr., but man, what has happened to him? Like, super promising, just has been awful. On the Clipper side, no Paul George, but man, I still don't necessarily want to go anywhere. Maybe Terrence Mann. He's a guy potentially look to. Kawhi Leonard all the way up to 9.9K coming off 60 fantasy point game, biggest game in probably 2 seasons. So price tag is warranted, but again, I don't know if I'm going to trust paying that price tag. Jamal Murray for sure, but man, I'm not thrilled, I guess, about anything else. CDome, thoughts here on this one?
Yeah, man, tonight's a Kawhi Leonard night. Absolutely love this. Absolutely love this play. Late night hammer. He's going unowned. He was actually my play of the day a few days ago, if I'm not mistaken, when they played the Mavericks. And he was going underlooked once again. And that was a shorter slate too. This one's 9-game slate. So I will say, great spot for him. The usage is just unbelievable without Paul George. And I got to be honest with you, when they're depleted like that and it's just running through Kawhi, all they have is Kawhi, man. I also think, Zubac can get in foul trouble easily tonight, trying to kind of handle. Wait, is Jokic out?
Yes.
It's
January
13th, 2000.
Blink if you're safe.
Bro, I just ran. I don't know why I overlooked that. Yeah, but hey, my stock has gone even up now with Kawhi Leonard. So,
and now I realize you don't listen to the host of the show either. So it's
he doesn't listen to anything. It's very hurtful.
Dude, I listen a lot. I got so many windows open, But
are you running some underdog fantasy drafts over there? How many drafts do you have going? Yeah, I knew it. I'm trying to max out 150. It's hard, man. We'll say.
Listen,
I'm trying to get up there as well.
Listen, if you get a match deposit, $100, underdog, run pure coach. All right,
promo. That's just like such a natural fucking promo. Look at that. I mean, just. What a chance.
But listen, going back to Kawhi, the usage, the minutes, the offense is just absolutely. And then the opposite side, without Jokic, I mean, Jamal Murray is just at 6,700, man. You just can't say no. I mean, I hope he does play. I know he's questionable, but he'll be fine. But I mean, without Jokic, you would have to think 20 plus shots tonight, and at 6,700, I don't mind that whatsoever. I do wish that John Wall was out and like Reggie Jackson was playing. I don't trust Terrence Mann. I'd love having a guard against Denver, but tonight I just don't know if there's a guard that I do like. Maybe Norman Powell. I could show him some love, but outside of that, man, it's looking like Kawhi Leonard for sure, and then Jamal Murray, absolutely.
Yeah. That'd be like perfect for Underdog, just like cut that clip and just like play it on their website. I mean, that's like a perfect promotional video for Underdog Fantasy right there. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Oh, man. My God.
Oh, let's see. We got one more game. People, they're tempting us, man. They're playing with fire on a Friday night. 340. Like I'm not. You know what? I'm just not even saying anything anymore.
Should I talk about the the Clippers game?
No, I thought you wanted to go back to the Great Wall of.
We should. We will. We will.
Well, there it is. It's already there. It's there now.
For the last 10 minutes of the cast, if we don't get those likes,
dude, it legit looks like 8 like miniature JTHayes is like just pulling down their pants.
You get JT baby butt cheeks until you get to 375. That's all there is to it. There's no going back.
Isn't it like the greatest picture poster you've ever seen though? It's like
it's so good. I love it. All right. We'll come back. All right. What do we got? One game? Is that what I said? One game. All right. Yeah. Rockets, Kings, 238. Wait, did you talk about that game, JT, or did I pass right by you?
You passed me. You passed me because we were confused because we were so put off by the fact that CDome had no idea that like the the highest price play on the slate was ruled out. Yeah. I'll tell you what, the guy on Denver that I like, of course, I like Murray. Aaron Gordon at 6,200 is just going to light these fucking Clippers up.
Oh, I
mean, he's done great when they've been shorthanded. He's played like an all-star. Aaron Gordon, 6,200. Porter hasn't been good, but his price is all the way down to 5,200. Who's going to stop these guys? And then instead of DeAndre Jordan, I think that you'll see a little bit more of Zeke Naji here. And then on the other side, Zubac at 5,100 without Joker. He had 15 fantasy points in 15 minutes when they got blown out, and Ty Lue pulled all the starters and put in the third and fourth string at halftime. So if he gets full run here, Zubac could get easily 7x, could get to 40 fantasy points.
West Coast gem. Looks like JT has a new NFT pick right there. What's the term? Minting? We're gonna start minting. We're gonna start minting the mooning butt cheeks. All right. Run Pure Edition 1 coming out Super Bowl Sunday. Get ready and start bidding.
Hey, what do we think about Vlatko Kankar?
Yeah, I mean, and there's so many like other cheap guys on the slate. Like, I don't know if I want to mess.
Kind of need him in blowouts. And what's the spread? 4.5. I certainly don't think Denver lays down. I don't, the Clippers outside of Kawhi and Zubac really don't have anything. So I don't know about that. It's kind of thin.
Yeah.
All right, Rockets, Kings, 238.5 total. Kings favored by 9.5. Kevin Porter out on the Rockets side. Jalen Green at 7.6. I just don't play a ton of Jalen Green. I mean, can he get there tonight? Yeah, sure. I probably won't have much. Eric Gordon, I mean, it's a nasty play, but he's going to have to play a lot of minutes. He typically likes to chuck the ball. But the upside, maybe more of like a cash play, I guess, or something, because the upside might not be there. KJ Martin, 3.8K. Again, we'll probably get some extra minutes here tonight, but the upside, I don't know. Is it there? Is it not? Haven't seen much of it lately. So I guess those guys are in play, but, not core plays or anything for me. On the King side, for me personally, just hard to play anyone outside of De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis. Think Sabonis is fine tonight. 10.6K, the most expensive guy on the slate. If this game stays close, he probably goes off. So I definitely want him in my player pool. Would certainly be my favorite play here in this game. JT, Rockets, Kings, what do you got here?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned what DraftKings has been doing with pricing these guys up when there's been injuries. I mean, they price these guys up just the same way as they did really to the Pacers Priced him up almost immediately. So it's tough. Jalen Green, 7,600. He's fine. If we didn't have all this value, one play I was looking at was Jayshawn Tate at 3,600 because he may get the start at point guard for Porter, but I'm probably not going to wait on that news. And then on the Kings side, it's tough. They run deep rotation. The prices are up. It's a great matchup. Like you said, outside of Sabonis, though, I think everyone else is priced just a little bit too highly for my liking.
All right, CDome, final game here. Rockets, Kings, any interest?
Oh, yeah. A lot of interest here. I mean, dude, this is a great DFS game. Great total. I believe it's the second highest, if not the highest on the slate. Oh, the Golden State has the highest. They're the second highest. Once again, like no one's going to go to Sengun again. They just played here 2 nights ago. He's in a great spot, projects very well for his price point. Jalen Green, the usage, it goes up a lot without Porter. And if he's going to take 20, 25 shots, I mean, you got to consider him. Also, they struggle against shooting guards. And then on the contrary, De'Aaron Fox, Houston struggles against point guards, 9K. No one wants to go there. Sabonis is the highest projected player on the slate tonight, but yet not much ownership going there, just over 10%. So all these guys I feel like are great GBP plays. And especially if this stays close, this can be where you can really pick a lot of different spots. And then I will say some of the value plays are really nice here. Without Porter, KJ Martin has seen a little bit extra run. And if he plays 25, 27 minutes at 3,800 in a kind of an up-paced spot, don't mind that. Eric Gordon, more shots go to him, 3,900. I know that sounds gross saying that, but I got to be honest with you. You look at kind of his last 4 or 5 games, dude, I don't mind it. You're going to get a guy that plays 30 minutes. If he shoots 10 plus shots, he makes a couple threes and he does some, ancillary things. That's 25, 28 fantasy points. I mean, at that price point, you would have to take that. And that can help you as far as, going somewhere else for value compared to the chalk. So these are just all kind of little pieces. I know Malik Monk let a lot of people down last game. Not really, tonight is not where I want to go, but Sabonis, Fox, Green, Sengun, Martin, Gordon, absolutely. These are all great plays. And then if you want Keegan Murray, I don't mind it. His price still hasn't changed, and he's been shooting the ball really well lately. So there's just a lot of pieces here. I think you can kind of mix and match, and just don't write it off.
A little late night hammer here. So that's, big total. If the game stays close, there's going to be multiple guys going off in this one. There's just no way around it. Big total. The spread is 9.5 though, but if it does stay close, definitely going to have some big performances. Moment of truth. Wow. And I'm done with it. I'm sorry. 362 JT, 362. It's just, I'm sorry. And I know it's Friday. I haven't done this in a while. Can't do it. I'm sorry. That's hurtful. 360, 360, or what is it? 636 watching. I don't care if they get there now.
636, 363. That's crazy. All 636s.
Yeah, I just saw that too. It's unfortunate. I'm sorry. I got to do it for once. I haven't done it on a Friday. We always give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they'll learn from their mistakes. Unless wait,
JT, you know what I think it is? I think
you have veto power, JT.
I think a lot of these guys are playing underdog. That's why it's hard for them to hit the light.
If we get 5 underdog signups, we'll give the place away.
There you go. What I would say is, Hoop, add one like to the total because I'm only on my one screen. I couldn't hit the like because I don't have the live stream up. So whatever the number is, just add.
It was 362 when we wrapped up that conversation. So we would still be.
We're there.
We might even now, but I don't know. It's
Martin Luther King weekend. Hoop, come on, man.
It's true.
I have a dream.
All right, I have a dream to give out the play of the day.
All right, I'm going to vote no. JT, plays of the day, yes or no?
I have a dream to give out the play of the day.
I take that as a yes. CDome, you are the tiebreaker on the show here. Plays of the day, yes or no?
Yeah, man, we have
just
to.
Think though, if you say no, you can get back to your underdog draft a little sooner.
Dude, don't make love to that plant in the back.
Listen, at Run Pure, we are for the people, so we got to stick with it. We're gonna hit 400 anyway, so that's just kind of how it is.
All right, that's fine. All right,
we're late bloomers, we're growers. We're not showers here at Run Pure.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and do one thing though. We got to, for all the grief that the chat caused, they're gonna get mooned one more time before the plays of the day. They have to get mooned.
For next week, maybe I'll have to share the pictures I took of the feral cats that were there.
All right, let's well, you know what? I'll clear the way myself. All right. I voted no, but I was overruled 2-1. We are going to the plays of the day. This guy's been the play of the day a few times this season, and the results have been pretty good. Some news broke in his favor during the show. Mr. Bojan Bogdanovic is going to be the rich parents play of the day, 6,400. I like the little nugget too about them maybe trying to get a trade going. He's going to play a ton. So give me Bogdanovic, rich parents play of the day. Oh, you know what? I didn't even put the graphic up. So there's the graphic. There it goes. Next, we're going to
Big T in the boat.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good one. I'll go to CDome with the carbonated wine play of the day. Who do you got for us?
Yeah, man. I think gonna go late night hammer. Dual eligible Kawhi Leonard. He's got one of the best projections on the slate tonight. One of the best point per dollar situations here. No ownership going to him. No Paul George. A lot of usage. I just a lot of upside here. I mean, at under 10K, I'm gonna continue to fire it. So, and no Jokic either. I think also helps him and gets him a bump as well. So more rebounding opportunities and things of that matter. Love Kawhi Leonard tonight for my carbonated wine play of the day. My 12th disciple play of the day. My underdog play of the day.
A lot of different plays of the day. One play of the day that has not changed over the course of this show is the Eiffel Tower play of the day. But, JT's always at different locations. Is it a direct flight from the mountains? How does that work?
Well, I would say for me personally, I would have to drive for a couple of hours. Then I would have to get on the jet. But luckily, the player who is the Eiffel Tower play of the day today, who's getting on that jet to France, he doesn't have to worry about that because he's really close, really close to an international airport, about 20 minutes away, as a matter of fact, from Los Angeles International Airport. CDome and I have had great success. It's been great. The plays have gone off when we've picked from the same game. I can't believe that people aren't interested in taking advantage of this Denver Nuggets situation. Yes, people are going to play Jamal Murray. Nobody else is going to play players from this game. Forget about the total 221. Look at these prices. Look at the usage. Look at the minutes and opportunity without Nikola Jokic. Aaron Gordon, he's going to France. He's the Eiffel Tower play of the day.
Nice.
Absolutely love it. We have Bogdanovic, we have Kawhi Leonard, and we have Aaron Gordon as the three plays of the day. Make sure to get on over to runpuresports.com for our Up to Lock premium show with the Friday crew. They'll be breaking down all the news and notes for the slate. More injury news to come, I'm sure. So make sure to tune in to those guys. But that is going to do it here for the Friday night Hardwood show for Hoop. JTHayes ran down. Good luck tonight in your contest. We'll be back next week.